Jesus desires to bring life where there was once death. The places of our mind, our ways of thinking that feel futile and empty and useless and like a barren wasteland, God desires to bring new life out of it, new fruit, new vegetation. He wants new life to spring up from those broken places. That is who he is. This is what is true about him. So how do we get there? How do we experience this renewal in our minds? I think there's two pieces of it. This first piece that I think we need to sit in is choosing what we will and will not allow our minds to dwell on. Dallas Willard, an author and theologian and philosopher, says in his book, Renovation of the Heart, that the ultimate freedom we have as human beings is the power to select what we will allow or require our minds to dwell upon. The ultimate freedom that we have as human beings is the power to choose. So contrary to our feelings, we actually can choose the thoughts that sit in the forefront of our minds. And I believe our call today is to allow the thoughts that sit in the forefront of our minds to be shaped and to dwell on the things that Jesus says are true, the things that bring life. And we have to ruthlessly eliminate any thoughts that lead us astray from this. Paul talks about this in his letter to the church in Rome. He describes the mind that is governed by the Spirit is life and peace. So the mind that is determined by, that is dictated by the Spirit is life and peace. So we have to identify the ways of thinking that we carry that lead us from life and peace and replace those thoughts with ways of thinking that lead us to life and peace. This is our call. And this is hard. Again, I feel like I keep saying that. This is a difficult process that I am experiencing currently. And this is hard because our minds, again, are brought up by the way of the world. And our minds are actually hardwired to not do this. Our minds are hardwired to create pathways that make it easier and easier for more thoughts to follow down each time we introduce them to the forefront of our minds. It's that when our minds entertain thoughts of any kind, a pathway is formed. And the more that we think and dwell and sit on this thought, the wider and deeper this pathway becomes. So if I, for example, only an example, as a child, entertain a thought that God is thoroughly disappointed in me always, the more I think this thought, the wider and deeper this pathway that is actually rooted in a lie becomes. So the next time I feel fear or doubt or I feel a distance in my relationship with the Lord, the easier it is for me to jump to the false conclusion that God is disappointed in me. This is why it's so devastating to be taught something that is a lie about God or about yourself or about the world around you. These things become ingrained in us, and it is hard to undo them. But the good news is, and the second piece of this process of renewal, is that the Holy Spirit actually does this with us and for us. See, we have to rest in the renewing work of the Holy Spirit. Only the Holy Spirit can bring about this renewal in us. Yes, we can build our lives around practices that help us root ourselves in truth, and we should do this. But ultimately, the real shift, the real renewal happens when the Holy Spirit partners with us and empowers us and pours fresh, living water on the places in our minds that feel dry and broken. We have to get this. Our minds are powerful and are capable of so much, but we cannot think our way to true renewal. We can't strategize our way into a new mind. It is a free gift that we receive when we rest in the person of Jesus and are filled with the Holy Spirit.